Hello everyone, this is Beastly Eel here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the season premiere of Loki. Now, I'm pretty sure because we're almost a week in that you've already seen it, but if not, I highly recommend you pausing it because there are spoilers ahead. So obviously it actually starts off right where the last season ended. So um we see Loki with Mobius and Hunter B something, and they don't recognize him. And there's a big, huge statue of Kang. And what happens is he's now trying to convince them that that guy is going to try to take over everything and that they know him. And it turns out that that's not the case, meaning um, they don't believe him, and they obviously realize he's a variant, so they try to take him out. So there's a whole sequence of him trying to escape and everything else. And as this goes on, he actually what's called time skip and goes to a different area where he actually meets somebody he knows, um, which happens to be the guy who had all the Infinity Stones. What happened was he goes to I don't want to give it away. So basically, he's time skipping. So he's going from the past to the present to the future, all around, right? So what happened was he was originally in the past. So now he's in the present, okay? And then he finally is trying to get to Mobius, the Mobius that knows him. So he's bouncing around through time. Mobius and Hunter B something is summoned to the High Court. So they get called in. Um, they have to basically listen to being told on whether or not they should be pruning or not prune. And both sides were being very convincing. In the end, the high judge decided that they would stop pruning because obviously there's been something wrong with everything that's been going on, and because of that, they need to stop doing it. Granted, Hunter was basically explaining that it needs to be done because all these lives need to be saved, where the other one was like, no, we need to do it to keep it safe. Um, so Loki then time skips in, grabs a um, time stick, and stabs it into the wall, which then shows all the different faces of Kang that he saw in the past. And that's when Mobius was very confused at what's going on. The fact that literally Loki bounced in and is unclear of like exactly why it happened, in the sense of like he just randomly appeared. So then Mobius grabs him and tries to get him out of there, and Loki's like, "What are you talking about? No, no, we need to go find Sylvie." He's like, "No, no, no, we need to figure out what's going on with you, or else you're not going to be very helpful." So they go down to the deepest part of the TVA, where we meet Obi, and Obi is a character we've never seen before, and apparently has been Mobius has met only once, but he doesn't remember. And Loki is basically explaining to him that he must have been mind wiped multiple times because he was in the past of the TVA, which therefore showed him that Kang was Kang, and as the TVA, they were under his, I guess you would say, leadership. He was under he was their leader, and then he purposely took himself out of it and created um, oh my gosh, the Time Lords, I think is what they were called. I'm very disappointed in myself. I don't remember. But anyway, that's what he created. So he erased all their minds to have that. But apparently, that was not always the case. And because of that, Loki's been bouncing around figuring all this stuff out. He then meets Obi. They start talking. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Loki then time skips to the past and talks to Obi there. And the present Obi is talking to Mobius. And the past Obi is talking to Loki. And they decided to come up with this plan to then tether him to um, the world, basically. And to do so, he has to be, well, pruned. And it has to be at the proper moment so he could then be grabbed in and taken in. And it's only done in a short amount of time. So this all happens. They go then to the Time Weaver, which is apparently a thing where the TVA takes all the timelines that are allowed to stay and weave them together into the sacred timeline. So there weren't just one timeline apparently in the MCU. There were multiple, but only a limited amount. Now there are an infinite amount. And it's too much for the Time Weaver to take, which is why there's been power outages and things going crazy. Um, Hunter B and another Hunter leave because they've been told that they're sending an army to go after Sylvie. So Loki, on the other hand, is beginning to time skip again, and Obi is explaining to Mobius that he has to do it and has to do it quickly, because if not, Loki's going to be gone forever. Now, Loki has a device to tell him basically when it's free, when he's able to be pruned. So we see, excuse me, Mobius in this big time suit, and Obi's basically telling him you got to be quick because if not, your suit's not going to hold up forever. And Mobius notices a crack. He's like, "This suit's already cracked. Like this isn't good." And Obi gets duct tape, literally duct tape, and puts it over. And Mobius is just like, "Okay." And he then tries to run out there, puts the extractor in, and it shoots out. Loki's running around because he's in um, the future. Well, no, now he's in the present. Sorry, he's in the present now, and but he's in a different part of the present. So he's now running around trying to figure out where to find the pruning sticks, time sticks, so he can be pruned. Well, he finally gets to this elevator that's being forced open, and he sees Sylvie's face, and then all of a sudden he gets pruned. While that's happening, Obi decides that it's taking too long, hits the button to close the blast doors. Mobius has no chance but to run, so he's trying to go as fast as he can, which is not that quick. Then the extractor, while Mobius is almost there, but the door is getting very close to being closed, and Obi doesn't think Mobius is going to make it. So then we see the extractor take Loki out, slam into Mobius, and the two land into the TVA safely. And that's how the episode ends, which kind of stinks because we don't know what's happening. But there is a mid-credit scene, and it is Sylvie being in the 1980s at McDonald's, what looks like her just leaving the area where He Who Remains was, because the Sylvie we saw in the elevator looked very much like the Sylvie we see in the trailer and everything else. So that being said, um, I'm going off the assumption here that Sylvie lived in the 1980s for a while on a varied timeline to then, um, well, basically to have a normal life is basically what it was. And apparently that doesn't go well. But definitely curious to see what happens. This was only episode one. Very curious to see where the rest of this season is. I mean, we have not seen Victor Timely yet. We also don't know what's going on fully yet. So it'll be very interesting, sorry, to see where this season goes. So overall, very much enjoyed it. Let me know if you guys like this episode in the comments below and why. Um, and as always, if you like the content you see, please like and subscribe below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a great night.